Right, gosh. I mean, it's interesting. I meant to start off the event by talking about a statistic I heard recently. I was in a conference and somebody was presenting from KTH in Stockholm, a piece of research they'd done and like a lit review. They said that in the last 2 years, um, research into the circular economy has gone up by 2,000%. Publishing in circular economy work has gone up by 2,000%. They said that it's just becoming so huge. They had to wade through so much publishing to sort of find the gems, as it were. But, everybody is interested, it seems. And yet we're constantly hearing of the challenges, the sort of blocks, the breakages in the system. Do I want to mention this? But SOEX going to the administrators today, that was the news I woke up to this morning. So it's very much it's really encouraging to hear you talk, Robin, about how important it is to a brand like yours to really keep trying to close the loop, to reduce waste, to make things last, to offer customers a really good, well thought out product. But we're also hearing about the challenges. So could I just throw this open to the floor now? I've got everybody, I've got my gallery view on. I can see all of the panelists. Hello, everybody. Thank you for staying. Um, does anybody have a question for one of the other panelists about some of the work that you've heard about?
I just wanted to address some of the challenges in that statement that you say, Becky, because do we have to have setbacks in order to go forward? And, I see it as there's circularity, there's carbon footprint, there's water, chemicals, there's the social side. Let's not forget that. If we are building a systemic change, now is the time to also address the social challenges that exist within the industry. And I would say the other factor that I didn't mention is around traceability and transparency. So that's why I think the systemic change is so challenging right now within textiles and apparel. And we've been working one way for such a long period of time, but because we're trying to take on so much all at once. And I think, and I saw this in stepping away from New York Climate Week a couple of weeks ago, it's, we need some camaraderie around this. We need common language. We need to have proper representation around the table when we are having these discussions, and we need to set the right path forward. Instead, we have organizations moving in different directions. We still have brands and retailers who are incentivized by quarterly sales and earnings profits, which of course need to exist in order for progress and prosperity to happen. But how can we level that playing field in order to create change to go forward? So just want to mention that, not that there's any solutions, but these are the topics that we need to address in a broader way.
Brilliantly put. And I know you've been on a journey this year, and you've been able to see the industry for all of the sort of all of the opportunities as well as all of the really, really big challenges. And it does strike me that we keep saying we need to work together and things need to join up more. And how are we going to do that more? I mean, we've created this organization to just every year keep looking, keep bringing people together, keep talking. And I actually have some slides to end the session with to show around the world how new platforms, organizations and collaborations are happening. But from your point of view, what next? What are the things we need to focus on?
Yeah. Well, I do think we need to kind of reassess the state of the industry and where we're at now. I think we need to focus on how legislation will impact. And I think we need to focus on where we can really get, a lot of the funding in order to move forward. Because are some of these setbacks that we see really all assigned towards that? And how do we get the talk to match the action? There's a need for capsules to happen in order to verify materials without a doubt. But then after a certain point of time, you need to move forward and get out of the stagnation that you get out of just doing capsule after capsule, because that will not scale these new innovations. And I think for innovators in this space, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy that's needed. it's a difficult landscape to get through. And I think there needs to be more support on their side, coming from larger organizations.
Some good points, Tricia. Thank you. Anybody else want to
I
wiggle a
would
finger at me? Yes, you.
Yeah, I would just second to share. I think it's so important at this point that we need to do business radically differently. Like if we do business in the same way we did before, we're just replicating the same type of business in the circular economy, which isn't really then flourishing for everyone. So I think really thinking in win-win scenarios, like collaborating, like people that really collaborate together and find those win-win scenarios with each other. I think this is so needed. Like we had quite a few like consortiums that we led, or like collaborative initiatives, like where everyone from the full circle comes together, and like we're really addressing like the elephants in the rooms. Like, why is longevity of course not possible with like the same price, the same speed of production, and just making it work together on like a new business model around that. And like how can we really enable like the social aspects, like all the aspects around it in a different way with win-win scenarios. And I think that of course legislation will help, like it will give us like get us to a next level with like a minimum kind of requirement everywhere. But I think the real benefit will kick in if we go beyond, and if we kind of define like every single step in the circle needs to do their contribution, and it will come back like on the long run. Like I think, of course investing in circular design is like an investment, but it will kind of tickle further, recycling cost will get lower, etc. So I think, yeah, it's really about making those interconnections between people and make business radically differently. Yeah.
Thanks, Ina. You're a champion. We want 30 more years of you, all of you. But Anna, I've got a question for you, because I think the news from SOEX was quite, a surprise to me this morning. And what does TextAid need in the next year? What will get your business flourishing even more than it is? But what do you need?
Yeah, I think what's crucial in all of this is really that we enable the whole value chain here, and really put more products to market with recycled content to get this system up and running. We have seen a lot of innovative capsule collections in the past, and I mean the pullover is one of them. And I think what we need is now the commercial scale and really go to that. But of course, we have hurdles here in this system. It's also costs money to enable this, and I think this is really one aspect of it. Like recyclers need investment to put up technology. We also the preparation of the goods is very also a labor intensive work to do. We need also innovation here, an investment in innovation about automatic sorting, automatic pre-processing, and then the recycling technology. And we also need that clothing that are put to market are designed for circularity, because even though as a collector sorter, if we don't get goods in that are designed for recycling, we can anyway not enable that into recycling in the end.
Absolutely. Anyone else on the panel? I've got some questions to pull out of the chat if everybody's.
There was just one thing I wanted to add. I really agree with everything that's been said, and I think this idea of scaling is just so the focus now. And there was just a really great piece of research I saw presented recently. I've put it in the chat by a consultancy called WEFT, who modelled EPR legislation to really understand, what's an incredibly blurry and complex area, but looking at, I suppose, different scenarios of what it might either cost companies or benefit companies when all of this regulation comes in. And some of the things they're modeling are really going to depend on us being able to identify what is circular and how do we design for it. So I think, there's starting to be more evidence and starting to be some really interesting policy directions, but there's a lot of work to do to simplify that system so that we can all respond to it, I think.
Yeah, some brilliant work. Thanks, Kate. Some brilliant work at visualizing, modeling, mapping, other design challenges. I just want to flag other than product design. But as soon as you start to see it, you can understand the magnitude, you can understand the problems. And like Anna was sort of telling us about the sort of the design decision-making trees, you know, we need these models to actually really understand the challenges. I've got a question which I've been dying to ask, actually. So I've asked people in the audience to drop questions in and keep dropping them in so that they're at the top and I can find them if they really want them to be asked. And this one I really struck me because I think maybe Robin and some of and Kate, maybe some others can answer this question, but it's from Teresa, and it's: how can small brands participate in textile recycling? In being able to recycle our own textiles, collecting textiles from our clients, and being able to source textiles made from textile recycling. So really, and there was another one about school uniform as well. So what about these sort of smaller volumes? I mean, people, I find that this is quite a passionate area for people. They hold on to the materials, they want to do something with them, whatever scale it's at, you know, and we are talking about bigger scale in this conversation and really what can be found on the shop floor. That was the remit. So we have addressed the big scale, but what would you say to small companies that just really want to get their materials used, reused? Should they be looking to collaborate? Is there something they can join?
I think there are already great offers on the market, also for smaller brands. We have a small project with a medium project with Turns. I think Turns is already also here in the chat. I saw it before, and this company is very young and collects from fashion brands fabrics that are not in use anymore, and they recycle it. And there are many processes, I think, in place to also buy these fabrics made from recycled garns. So I think there are offers already on the market, also for not only the bigger ones, also for the small ones.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, and maybe this is some of the work that we can do over the year ahead. We've got 2 minutes before we close the meeting, and I'm not going to be showing you my news round slides. First of all, what I do want to do is thank the panel for coming on and sharing their insights, their work with us, but also for their work in judging and assessing the long list of 30. I want to say to everybody, we will be publishing the long list and the short list. We'll be publishing the key insights from that review process, as well as some of our news round articles that we've been collecting over the year. We'll be using LinkedIn a lot to do this over the next year, so keep tuning in there and be part of the conversation. I think there was a really busy conversation happening today in LinkedIn. I'm going to go back.
Can I add a word here for the last question?
Yes.
Smaller brands are actually much more suited than the bigger ones because they're so focused. They can actually hold the whole chain for take back, hold the whole chain for recycling, design. I mean, they are the torch bearers for the recycled textile and circular textile. So let not that be a limitation in the process. They would actually come out as torch bearers, I would say.
That's so funny. I thought you were going to say the opposite, that you know, you can only really deal with scale, big scale, but actually you're really championing the smaller brands for the contribution they can make. Thank you. Okay, we're at time, and 90 minutes has flown by. I had so much more I wanted to talk about. Once a year is just not enough, and I think we are going to be having to have more conversations across the year. Thank you for saying it's like Christmas Eve for the textile industry when we come and come together. It's a fantastic process to be able to keep looking every year, and at this point to ask ourselves, what are we going to do in the year ahead? It's going to be another year full of news, full of ups and downs. Let's make our own circular textile plans, share our ambitions, collaborate and team up, and make a commitment, and then come back here next year and share that with the audience, with the community. I promised I wouldn't go over, even though there's so much more that I could ask my panel about. And maybe next year for the 5-year anniversary, we might try to get together in person and actually handle and feel and wear some of these amazing textile developments.
And thank you to Becky, Kate, Cindy, and Gwen for doing this every year. I think I wasn't there for the first year, but to see the progress of this, and thank you within the work that everyone does to have a moment to celebrate some of the successes is very important. So thank you.
It really is. Thanks, Trisha. Thanks to you all. We do need to celebrate. It is hard work, and well done. So thanks for coming, everyone. That's another year's event done, and take care and see you somewhere in the circular textile world. Love from us all.
Thanks all. Bye.
Thanks,
There's
everyone.
Cindy. Bye. Gwen's had a baby. Gwen's had a baby. That's why she's not here.
Ooh, congrats. The next gen. Wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Bye.